So it's the Ducan diet, and basically it's about losing weight. So the first part of the phase of the diet is using high protein foods to establish quick weight loss. So that's like Atkins. Second phase is alternates pure protein days with vegetables and proteins. The third phase is basically return to a balanced diet, basically the gradual return of pleasurable foods with 2 festive meals, so in other words 2 ordinary meals probably. Stabilisation, it's interesting, easy but non-negotiable measures at 6, so in other words it's quite dictatorial, and they're saying that the people have to maintain this or they'll put their weight back on. So in other words it's not really so much changing the whole thing as it is like a slimming diet. So it's, yes, it basically looks as though it's like a sort of slimmers or whatever, so you have so many foods and then so many other foods that you can eat as much as you want, sort of situation. I mean, it's far better in an ideal situation if people, if they've got more choice, they self-determine what they want to eat.
Slimmers World thing, isn't it?
Yeah, because they've realised the other ways don't work.
Yeah, and that's care of the emotional side of it.
Yeah, so something like Atkins or Ducan is fine if you're happy that someone else tells you what to do. Yeah. See, ready meals are like, McDonald's and all the others. They're fine now and again, but it's actually not a good thing to base your diet on. Because, I mean, we're looking next week about, cooking and storing, what have you, because most ready meals, most people just nuke them in the microwave.
That's what the most of the adult population, or the elderly adults,
I know.
even with social care, they come in peeling the thing, and often they don't have vegetables with it.
I know. We went through all that with Si's dad. It's actually quite scary, isn't it? So I've left vegan and veggie up there, and I've put a reminder up there for diabetic age and things. But just before we go on to that, on page 4, 5, 6 in your info book, in fact, actually skipping on to page 7, is about the acid-alkali diet, which has got its overtones and there's a couple of traditions actually about the idea being trying to keep your body slightly alkaline, because alkaline is actually slightly healthier than acid. And of course one of the things is that rich proteins like meat, although if you put a litmus paper on them when they're raw, they would show alkali, but when you digest them they actually become very acid. Whereas things like lemons and oranges and limes, they show acid they actually become alkaline when they hit the system. So it's not as straightforward as you would think about what is acid, what is alkaline.
I've got a book on it, it's a bit of a mind.
And so I've given you a list here of basically what the alkalising foods are. And obviously the idea being is that you would, if you were shifting over towards wanting to alkalise the system, which would be very good in the case of someone who's athletic.
Yes.
Or something like that, when you actually need to slide away from the acidity, then this will give you quite a good range of things that are alkalising, and all the vegetables that are, and the protein that is, and the seasonings that are, so there's quite a bit there.
That's interesting. I was just about to make a mention of cancer, and then I clocked your little section there.
Yeah.
The body shows up immediately if you've got high markers. If you've got any inflammatory markers, rather, that indicates that there is something wrong in the body. And they look at that in hospitals. And the inflammatory markers go way off the scale when you've got a high infection.
And if you know somebody has that situation, or somebody wants to take care of that situation, then you dive towards a more alkalising diet. And that has their uses, because basically bodies are healthier when they're slightly alkaline. And of course we're talking about real food here. We're not talking about processed food. We're talking about fresh food. Because as soon as you process something, then you're going to make it's going to be more acidic. So probably if you pull Joe Blogs off the street, most people, probably 80% of people you pull would be quite...
I think the body's probably better at getting rid of toxins when it's alkalised.
Well, it needs to be neutral or alkaline. Yeah.
And of course, that's how it can support or help people that do have cancer.
Yeah.
Because it helps the body to come back into balance. So
I don't know though.
I'm
close to someone at the moment who's in the process of keeping terrible.
It is actually quite scary.
And trying to sort of encourage her to use diet it's just it's too much.
You have to think what the chemo's doing. The system is a yellow turquoise, is it? Solar plexus, thymus thing. So it's like, so what they need support with when that is getting warped. I mean, there aren't many turquoise things about, but boy, it's yellow. So your sort of vitamins, your liver support, it's all that stuff. It's full on. But like you said, while it's actually being done,
she just can't actually take in enough food.
No, that's what I mean.
She
because it gives her the trots.
Supposed to eat, but she's never quite hungry enough. So she tries to eat and only gets through a tiny bit and ends up being sick. And then
try that's liver, okay. And so you're looking at things that stimulate the liver to help the appetite. All right, because the liver's being walloped anyway, because the chemo's walloping the liver. At least the liver has got to process the chemo. Okay. And so you're looking at bitters, things that support the liver function. So you're looking at even things like tonic water, gentian as in Angostura bitters. You're looking at the bitter greens, foods, looking at anything like that is actually a bitter taste in the mouth. Long-term support, you're looking at some of the phyto nutrients, like from last time, like milk thistle and some of the others, and dandelion's a good one. Dandelion's quite good for immediate shifty, and even dandelion coffee, that sort of thing. But that problem of wanting to eat, you get it a lot when people are pregnant. Is they know they should eat, and they sort of look at the food, and it's like, oh God, no, thank you very much. And it's that same thing. It's because the liver's processing so much that it just, the appetite part of it has not really hit in. And so if you can support the liver, then you usually find that it'll actually help them eat a bit more. And that usually helps. But there you've got a direct correlation to what's happening with the chemo and the area of the body, and how you need to actually work with it. And even colour yellow t-shirt.
Like I say, it was interesting for me because it's like there are some situations where you can't.
And it's because it hits the body so hard.
As much as they can do to hang on for dear life.
And as I said, I've got a funny feeling that cuts into the whole thing of the medical profession feels it needs to do something.
Well, because Westerners have been sort of acclimatised to the fact that
it can be fixed.
We can fix it.
The pH diet is actually quite useful, and it actually is quite wide. Because it's basically what you're after is eating the majority of alkalising stuff and keeping your acidifying stuff down, and then you'll automatically start to alter.